Summer is still ablaze in Aries, and it is heating up for you guys, but in a really great way. Let's have an astro chat about it. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot as part of my Aligned Astro Chat in my Black Feather Code Tour, Divining a VIP Life. I am so excited to be tapping in for you guys today. So the first card deck that we are going to be using today is the Wizard's Tarot from Barbara Moore. I apologize, I don't have a box for it. And the overarching theme that we're going to pull for this month is the Spiritual Awakening cards. And this is Reverend Dr. Erin Fall Haskell. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I feel when I'm tapping into your energy, guys, I feel that September is going to continue to be a highly motivating month for you, where there's a lot that you're going to be able to get done. There's a lot that you're going to be able to move the needle on, to move forward with. And I feel like this is something that you've been, I want to say, wanting for quite some time, but haven't necessarily been able to sort of get past that threshold. But this is the month where you're going to get past it. The law of tithing: expand your consciousness and all things will be added. So feeling here very much that this is a card that is basically saying it's like reciprocity. It's like if you give back or you pay forward, you're going to give back. And there is a law of reciprocity as well, but the law of tithing I'm hearing here is really about energy. For some of you, you might see this as financial, actual financial tithing. But what I'm seeing here is it's energy. What you give in your energy and what you put your focus to is going to expand and grow. When we talk about the expand your consciousness and all things will be added, I feel like this is also a month where there's going to be some spiritual aha moments for you, energetic aha moments. And I want to say, I keep hearing like a hit about mental clarity. So some of you, if you're, running into some mental health issues at this time, I feel that there's going to be clarity, either around steps to take to heal yourself from that, or that there is clarity that comes that allows you to recognize, oh, I'm beating myself up over things that, maybe I don't need to beat myself up over. So I feel that there's going to be this expansive quality that is going to really put you in a space and a place of being ready to move ahead on some different options, some different opportunities, and I want to say some different projects that have already been in the works, and you're going to get ahead. This is not, of course, without, I want to say without, I don't want to say struggle, as much as I want to say it's not without effort, okay? There's going to be effort involved in this process, but I feel like the effort is, for lack of better words, going to feel a little more enjoyable in nature. And it's going to be a little more enjoyable in nature because you're actually feeling like there's movement ahead, like you're able to, get some stuff done. You're able to see light at the end of the tunnel. You're able to get to where it is that you want to be. I just realized that I forgot to open up my my little spread. So in case you're wondering why I'm looking down, I had to open up my spread so I can follow along with what questions and card prompts we're pulling. So I am with it. I'm with it now. This is my problem. I always do Aries first, and I wake up first thing in the morning. And you guys get me when I'm fresh. And sometimes when I'm fresh, I forget to set up the things that I need. Oh, but here we are. Okay. So where are you right now in your current transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? 9 of Cups. Yes. you have been in, it's so interesting. The law of tithing, expand your consciousness and all things will be added. Nine of Cups is, wishes fulfilled. It's that card that says, let's talk about some gratitude. Let's talk about the fact that I have all of my ducks in a row, that I have everything that I need right now, that I am, fully present in the joy of what I've received. So I feel like, you've got the give back to receive, and not in a selfish way, just in, again, it's a law. It's a universal law that's out there. So in your transformational journey, I feel like there's a real desire for you. It's like you can almost touch, almost taste your desired outcome at hand. Like it's just slightly out of reach. And this is what you're wanting. This is what you're waiting for. And you're looking at it going, I've been working so hard to get to this spot. Why am I not yet at this spot? And I want to say, I feel like there is a shift that's occurring when we ask, are you shifting? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? I feel that you are shifting in order to be able to get that half an inch that you're, looking for, to be able to kind of take the prize, right? To stand in this energy. But again, as I was mentioning before, it takes effort. Let's just take a look at the desk. He's got a steaming cup of coffee on the desk here. He had to take the time to make the coffee. He had to light the candle. Maybe he had to find the candle first before he could light it. There are a stack of books here on the table, and one book is open. He's been doing the work. He's been doing the research. He feels confident now. And I almost want to say to you, when I look at this, I feel like he's been reading the book and he sits back and goes, I know the path that I'm going to take now. Now it's all becoming clear to me. Didn't I say clarity? So this Nine of Cups energy, I feel, is indicating where the mental stress, the mental strain, maybe there's been a lot of rumination for you at this, at this juncture is ending. You're coming up on the end of that rumination piece. And I feel like, when we get a 9 card, 9 is endings, right? Resolutions, conclusions. I feel like not the floodgate opens. I don't feel that it's going to be like that, but I feel like the light goes on. And you look at this now and you say, okay, I don't have to worry anymore. I'm choosing to release the worry because now I have a path, and that path is so clear to me that I also have a plan. Like sometimes we're given a path and then we have to formulate a plan on how to walk that path. I feel like both come at the same time. You have the path and you go, oh, okay, I've done this before, or I've done something like this before. I'm going to apply this to this. So you already have a working plan. This is going to bring about a lot of, I want to say, relief for you. And I feel like you just, it's like that sigh that everything's going to be okay. And I didn't have to jump through so many hoops to get there. It wasn't the worst case scenario. I didn't have to sell my soul in the way that I thought I might have to in order to get my needs met. That's the energy of what I'm feeling here, is you're really going to get this clarity, and it's going to come, there's work involved, there's a process, but then it's going to come and it's just going to make sense. It's going to fall into place. And that's going to feel so good for you, Aries. So take advantage of that. I think that's great. So what is your catalyst? What's fueling or hindering your transformation in September? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Knight of Wands. So definitely rocket fuel. I feel like once you receive this clarity, and I do feel that it's going to happen sort of within the first week-ish of September, because I feel a lot of this has been kind of brewing in August, the last couple of weeks in August for sure. You've been, like I said, it's like just out of reach. And then the clarity comes in that first week, maybe first 10 days for some of you. But what I really feel is going to sort of motivate you after that is once you get the clarity, then you add your fire to it. You get going. The passion is there because you now see where it is that you want to be and you see the path clearly. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to measure twice and cut once, because again, the path and the plan show up simultaneously, and it makes so much sense for you. Now, I do want to say that the catalyst is also going to involve, for most of you, a person. And the person that's going to come into this mix and be a catalyst may or may not be kind, may or may not come across, I want to say, in a way that is on the nose, conducive to, positivity. But I want to say you want to think of it from that sort of step back, the observer stance, that maybe their cruelty or their unkindness is what is required for you to step up and say, I'm not taking this shit anymore. I'm going to do something else. Or it might be a catalyst for you to say, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to choose not to be that person. Or it could be a catalyst to step up and speak your truth, to stand up for yourself. So I just want to prepare you for the fact that this might be one of those, those dreaded soul lessons where we're like, oh yay, I'm gonna have growth, and growth usually comes through some kind of uncomfortability. Woohoo, yay! But I want to say to you, on the scale of 1 to 10, it's going to be a 2 or a 3. And 10 out of 10 is like, it's really bad and painful, and there's all sorts of things and stuff around it. So a 2 or 3 you can handle. A 2 or 3 you've got kind of already in the bag. And for a lot of you, I feel like it's something that you almost were expecting. So this kind of feels like a person that is maybe by nature a bit difficult, maybe by nature just that way. And so it just happens to be your turn, that other people have had struggle with this, but it's your turn now to deal with this person, or have to address this person's behaviors. So I definitely feel that there is a person involved in this. Also, I want to say, in terms of the rocket fuel, you don't have to add anything to this. You don't have to light the fuel on fire. I feel like the fuel is already activated. So that's important too. Like, don't burn yourself out. All you have to do is just kind of be in flow. Like, you choose the path. You're like, okay, I've got the path and the plan. Let me hop on my horse. I got my little carry-on bag, and let's do it. Let's do it. So you don't have to add anything extra to this at this time to get that ball rolling. I feel like that's really important to say, because you don't want to be burning yourself out either. This is going to be a bit of a journey. There's going to be some, I want to say, like I said, some work involved to get you here. So as a result of that, you want to make sure that you're conserving your energy as much as you possibly can. All right. What is the deep root? What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Well, this was the one that was standing out to me, but I also saw that one. So we're going to do 2 here. Oh, interesting. Huh. I love it. Okay. So we have the Page of Swords and we have the Star. So when we're talking about the deep root, I feel like a lot of what has been transpiring here is having a big vision, knowing that you want to get to a particular place. And for the first time in your life, not being entirely sure how you're going to get there, and being nervous, being maybe a bit insecure about the journey to get there. The Page of Swords being that student energy, really focusing again on the mind, mental energy, focusing on the process, the learning. I want to say almost getting obsessively so, where you got a little bit out of balance and weighed heavily on the mental component and less so about the intuitive component or the psychic component. But then when that psychic, the spiritual information comes in and comes through, and you have the clarity, now everything feels better, right? Everything feels like it had purpose, it had meaning. You know the direction that you are going to take. So this deep root I feel for you right now is about this idea that I had to be perfect in order to be able to reach this vision and to be worthy of this vision is what I keep hearing. And I feel like this is in essence what has been driving this transformation is you're going to come out the other side of this recognizing I didn't need to be perfect. I didn't need to have, all the steps in play before or in place before I started to play the game. And I feel a little bit, I keep hearing like dissolution. So I feel like this Page of Swords energy, it's like you're hanging on to this idea that you're still a novice. You're leaning in, like you're excited about this clarity and this opportunity, but there's also this energy where, like, in order to embrace that, I feel like you have to kind of let go of this idea that you're a newbie at it, you're a novice at it. You don't have to be arrogant about it, but I want to say, and not everybody, likes this saying, but it's sort of like a fake it till you make it kind of energy. But here, I don't feel like you have to fake it. It's like you have the wisdom and knowledge. So now it's just a matter of kind of applying it. And the star card is the card for Aquarius. So Aquarians lean on community for things that they're doing, but they walk their own path. And they, quite frankly, don't really give a flying, fat rat's ass, as my mother would say, as to whether or not the path that they walk is straight or accepted or, whatever the case may be. I feel, Aries, like you want to pull a little bit from your Aquarius friends, because this is the invitation for you at this point to be able to say part of the vision is like becoming the vision or building the vision out and not being afraid of what that's going to look like. So I feel like we're dealing with some self-sabotage and maybe some fear around, like, insecurity around but I don't know enough to actually be able to make this work. So I feel like the invitation this month is to let go of this idea that you're still a student, you're still a novice, you don't know enough to be able to make this work and to move ahead. And instead to say, no, I'm here now. I've got the information I need. Let's do this. Because, you're not that bad at, I want to say, winging it, at figuring it out as you go. And for those of you who when I say that, it makes you nervous, this is the time to call on a friend who maybe is a little bit better at that, or can just kind of hold your hand while you're going through it. Don't negate the power of support, and I keep hearing safety in numbers, but I don't feel like that's for all of you. I feel like that might be a direct message for some of you. But because I don't feel like you're unsafe here, but there is some, I want to say, mental component where the clarity helps you to get out of the rumination. And that feels really important. Okay, what part of you is falling away? This is what's dying away, the past. What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Wow. So we started off with the Nine of Cups. We're now stepping into the Nine of Pentacles. This is the card of gratitude. So when we're talking about that law of tithing, expand your consciousness and all things will be added. Nine of Pentacles says, I've perfected my craft. I'm no longer, just like what I was saying with the Page of Swords, I'm no longer a novice at this. I am now I'm just going to show the page because I feel like the page is what's speaking to us right now. I'm no longer a novice. I am a master in my own right. I might be the master of level 3, not level 10, but I am still a master, and I am no longer the novice just starting out at level 1. So I feel like this is what is dying away, is this idea that you have to be a master at level 10 in order to matter, in order to make a difference, in order to voice your opinion, in order to get started. I'm also feeling here, when we're talking about sort of the role in the pattern that has run its course, I feel like there's a component for a lot of you that is inviting you to not only to like think big and go big. I don't feel like you have a ton of trouble with that, but like to not be so worried about how it gets done. So this puts me in mind, and this card has nothing to do with control, but this puts me in mind of a little bit of like control issues. Like if you let go of the control, like all the pieces are there, all the things are there, everybody is like on board, or all the resources are on board, ready to work for you, ready to work on your behalf. Everyone's on the same page. But if you hang on to the reins and you don't let the horse go when the horse is revving, what's going to happen is they're going to use up some of their energy that could be better used in the attainment of the goal. But you're like nervous, like, I don't know, is it the right time to start it? Is it not the right time to start it? Like, I'm not quite sure what to do. So I feel like, and again, I don't know that this really has anything to do with this particular card, but I feel like it's about just kind of like holding the reins. And I'm just being drawn to years ago, I did take some horseback riding classes, and I was like hanging on to the tether for freaking dear life, right? And the instructor said, like, all you have to do is just kind of hold it lightly in your hand, and then every once in a while you just do a little this, you do a little that. Like, it's a subtle communication, and this is something that develops over time. So I feel like the messaging here is like you're now developing that you don't you're not, again, you're not the novice just hanging on for dear life. You've now developed a little bit of the skill, a little bit of the confidence to move forward, so you can just kind of hold on to the rein and apply a little pressure as required. I want to go left, I want to go right. That I feel is really important, and I feel like it's going away, or it's being put to the side for you, because ultimately it's going to hold you back if you keep it in your hands. And this is not a time where you want to be held back. Highest potential. This is your Phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. I love this card. 7 of Pentacles. Wow. So this is a card of harvest. It's a card of reaping rewards. And I feel like, when I look at this card in particular, she's a scientist. She is, sort of in the process of learning and doing. She has her little wizard's hat on her. She's clearly alchemized a concoction using a bunch of different potions, using some of her spell books, her recipe books, however you want to say that. It's nighttime. So she's been working at it all day, and now she's sitting and she has to wait for that concoction to, wait for the yeast to rise, right? Before we can make the bread. And I feel like this is exactly what you're in the space of, is bringing all of these pieces together. And I see for some of you, it's like, I see the number 3. I see there being 3 components that you have been, pretty steadily, pretty consistently working on separately. And now it's time to bring them all together. And there will be a little bit of activation time required. But again, Knight of Wands, you're already on the path. So it's like all of this stuff is now happening as you go. It's not like you have to stop and do the thing and then whatever. I feel like this is like you've already brought all of these concoctions together. Now you're just giving it a little bit of time, but you can be on the road while that is being activated. So I feel like the 7 of Pentacles is saying that when you're talking about what is going to sort of be here on the other side, it's going to be a great harvest. It's going to be successful. You're going to have more than perhaps what you need, which I feel leads to the law of tithing again, where you're going to be able to give back and pay forward in this regard. It's going to be highly successful, but you have to trust in the process. And I feel like that's what she's like. When I look at her picture, she's got a little fear, a little worry. Oh, did I put all the right ingredients in? Did I measure it properly? Did I forget the this, or did I forget the that? rumination. So I come back to, we were talking about that earlier, the mental component of rumination. We're switching that over to mental clarity. So trust in the process. And I feel like that's also about that, loosening up on the reins, trusting that all is in flow. That just feels really, really big, really important. What is emerging for you? What's just around the corner? What energy? Oh, okay. What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? This card really wanted to come out. Oh, yes, Queen of Swords. Okay, so when we are talking about the energy that is coming in to support the next phase, this is a thoughtful energy. When we talk about Queen of Swords, she's the card of boundaries for me, but she also is about setting like a plan that makes sense, putting the wheels in motion, delegating particular tasks to people who are functional, to people that she knows are going to be able to get the job done without a lot of supervision. So I'm hearing that this is going to be a time for you to really put effort and intention into making sure that those that you are collaborating with, or services that you are employing in order to get you to this goal, that you've done your homework on it, that you haven't maybe like cheapened out on the cost of it. And I just keep hearing the phrase, you get what you pay for. I feel like that's kind of the message of the Queen of Swords here. Is she saying, you are moving, you are heading in the right direction. You are going to be able to sit in your sovereignty, to sit on your throne and have others, sort of picking up the ball, or you're passing the baton. It's still your baton, but you've employed or invited other people to participate in this. And you get to now watch your masterpiece come to fruition, reaping the rewards of that. But you have to be smart about who you employ. Now, this can be in a literal sense, if you're a business owner, or, in terms of at work, like who you're delegating your work to, who you're working with, who you ask for a favor, making sure that you're asking the right person who has the right tools for the right job. But this can also be in life, in personal situations and in personal circumstances, like you don't necessarily want to go and ask your dad for some feminine products. Sorry, guys out there. It's just the image that I'm getting in my head. You want to go to someone who's going to have what you need, right? Like, it's that kind of energy, is really making sure. Wow, that was just really random. Sorry about that. When I'm channeling, it just comes out. So there you go. So I feel like here, this is really the focus, is understanding whatever area of your life is being transformed at this moment in September. You want to make sure that you have people, that you have invited people in that are capable, qualified, have the capacity, have the time, have the knowledge to be able to help you. Because ultimately, it is about you, again, taking your hands a little bit off the reins and allowing things to unfold organically. Queen of Swords really makes sure that everybody that works for her has what they need and knows what they're doing, so that she can be confident in just sitting here. She teaches if she has to. She gives instruction if she has to, and she might give it twice. But after that, if you don't get it, she's moving on to somebody else, because for her, there's no room in her life for first of all, for, I want to say, like, slow and methodical. She's not looking for slow. She's looking for, okay, you've had your time to figure it out. Now, let's move along. Right. So, and it's not even so much about perfection for her as much as it's about just get it done. Just get it done. And do it well, because I've taught you how to do it well. So just follow the instructions and all will be well. And that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here. This is you in this process. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Ooh, there's a little grief going on here. I feel like there's a component to this. Maybe for some of you, it's been like, this has been a dream or a goal or something you've been working on for so long that it's almost like you're attached to the struggle or you're attached to the dream itself, but not actually to the outcome. And so I feel like for some of you, there's this energy of needing to step in and say, it's okay that I'm ready for this next step or this next phase. It's okay that this is something that is now ready to transition into a different form. It's interesting because there's a full moon here that's being depicted. And I do feel that the full moon that is happening in September is going to be sort of a tender time for you. So don't be surprised if you're feeling a little emotional. Maybe for some of you a little weepy and you're not quite sure what's going on. You don't understand because everything is going really well. Why am I so weepy? Trust in the process. I feel like what you are releasing is the the unconscious attachment to the path, the process of the path. Or sometimes I like to say, in theory, there are a lot of fantasies, dreams, and goals that are fabulous, but in reality, maybe not so much. Maybe it's not as exciting, or it didn't turn out the way you kind of had hoped it was going to turn out. So yes, there will be some grief. So be gentle with yourself on that. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it positively or negatively being influenced? Oh my God, another queen. Love it. Okay. So this says to me here that once again, going back to what we were talking about, there is a level of collaboration that is coming up. For you lone wolf Aries out there, this is not the month to lone wolf it. This is not the month to say it's just easier for me to do this on my own. This is the month to invite in your other queen friends, your other queen family. And what I mean by that is those organizers, those delegators, those who understand a good structure, those who are open-hearted with their time and their resources for you. This is, I want to say, a time to collaborate because there's going to be a giving and receiving in this process. You're going to be giving at the same time that you're receiving. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to step in and, I want to say, put a little heart into it. Not to say that you're heartless or anything, but this is a time to be more intentional about connecting with those that you feel heart bonded with, right? Because they're the ones that are going to really show up and root for you, and not only be your champion and your cheerleader, but they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. I feel like also for a couple of you, there's a family member that wants to really help, but they feel a bit underconfident about what they can actually really do for you. So I want to say to you, this is one of those things where not like you have to make more work, but like think a little outside the box. And sometimes it's helpful, like especially when you're on a team or something, if there is a team member that is just learning something or might be fairly new to the situation, or maybe is a little bit underconfident, don't dismiss them entirely and not give them a task, and don't give them a task that means nothing. But you don't necessarily want to give them, maybe you don't feel comfortable giving them, the most important task, but work with them on it. Make sure that they feel valued and included. So don't, if there's someone who says, oh, I'd like to help too, then you say, oh my God, thank you. I didn't realize that, that was something that you'd like to participate in. Yeah, yes, I would love your help. And, let's come up with a way that feels good for you. So I feel like you want to be a little bit inclusive in that regard as well. That's not going to be for all of you. That's going to be for, well, I'm hearing for most of you, which is interesting. Okay. Hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? Yeah. So you are afraid that this whole thing that you've been working towards, and now the ball is rolling and exciting, but you're also a little anxious about, its success. You're worried that it's going to actually in the end take you off course. There's a part of you I feel that you're leaving behind. We talked about the walking away, the grieving. There's a part of you that's grieving something because maybe now that it, like, I've been wanting to get out of it for so long, but now maybe it wasn't all that bad. We go through that. I call it buyer's remorse, where you go ahead and you're like, yeah, this is great. And then, a day later, you're like, oh shit, can I really afford this? Or is this really what I want? Or this is a big commitment. Maybe I need to go back into my little comfort zone, my little happy place. And I feel like here, interesting that we're getting a collaboration card. You're worried that the collaboration is going to take you off course, or that the collaboration is not going to bring the perfection that you're trying to break out of. PS and FYI. We've talked about perfection a lot. And I want to say to you here, this is a card of focus. It's a card of scattered energy. And it all depends on, again, who you bring to the table, who you invite into your circle. And didn't we talk about that? I think it was here with the, no, it wasn't was it Nine of Pentacles? Was it? Oh no, it was the Queen of Swords. With the Queen of Swords, being very specific, being very intentional about who you're bringing on board. So I want to say this is where you have to loosen the reins a bit, but going in and really, I want to say, going inside and manifesting the people, places, and things that you need. And then trusting. There was a card in here where we talked about trusting. Seven of Pentacles. Trusting that I did the best I could. Now it is what it is. Let's just see how the cookie crumbles. Let's just see where the chips fall. Because we all have a particular focus. We're all coming in with our own strengths, our own spidey senses. And so trust that they're all going to happen. This always makes me think of X-Men or, the Jedis, that each of them has, their own strength, their own particular specialty or superpower. So trust that you've gathered this, band of people, and that they all want to help you, and just lean into that. I feel is really important. And we are at our outcome. So if you stay the course in September, who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of bracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Oh, I love it. The devil, the rebel. So let me just say here that I feel like what you are bringing into being, and I do feel that you're going to start to really see some progress by the end of September. What you're bringing in is something that maybe hasn't been done before, or hasn't been done in quite the way that you have envisioned it. And what is coming out, I feel, is going to be very exciting. I feel like you're also going to be letting go of some boogeymen or some demons. We all have them. We all, I want to say, are often driven by subconscious fears that we aren't even aware of. And I see that this whole month is going to be like the culmination of it is going to be giving you the gift of awareness around something that has been in the shadow, working behind the scenes, under the surface, that you're recognizing you now no longer need. Maybe you didn't see it before. Maybe with the culmination of this, you start to see where, oh, this behavior or this pattern is no longer serving me, or I simply don't need it. I've outgrown it, because look at where I've gotten. Again, I'm no longer the novice. I am a master in my own right, and I'm expanding on that mastery. Expand your consciousness and all things will be added. Wow. So the devil as an outcome today is really powerful because there is nothing wrong with a rebel. When the rebel, I want to say, has cause, when the rebel is intentional about the pattern and cycle that it is going against. And that's what this feels like. You're going to have a lot of growth on the other side of this for who you really want to be, who you've become. And that is what this is all about. Letting go of that novice energy, the idea of perfectionism, and being in flow and discovering that it all is perfect in the way that it turns out. And you didn't have to control so tightly in order for it to happen. Oh my goodness. Aries, what an incredible, amazing September. I cannot wait to see how this turns out for you. So that is your transformational tarot for September. As always, sending you guys so much love and so much support for this month. If you need any help, any guidance, any direction, just a sounding board, I'm here to help. You just click on the link below, book a session with me. I would love to connect. And until we meet again on our next video, transform well.